Talladega, Alabama. Thursday, ready for the Sprint Cup Series to open. The Nationwide Series was here today. Tony Stewart's driving in Saturday's race. He was the hot story. We thought the hot story this week was going to be Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to win a race. Hadn't won in 2 years. But the story is Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart, his contract runs another year. It's not up to the end of 2009. He says he might not be back with Joe Gibbs next year. He says he's looking at a lot of offers. Says he got some more offers today, and he expects some more offers coming up in the next 48 hours. He expects Bob Nardelli, the CEO at Chrysler, to show up and make a bid. Him and Bob Nardelli are good buddies from their Home Depot days. There's speculation that Home Depot might be getting a little worried about its franchise in NASCAR, might even be able to quit. We don't know what's going on quite there, but the ball is in Joe Gibbs' court. Joe Gibbs seemed to be a little surprised by the fact that Tony Stewart all of a sudden is getting all these offers. I think Richard Childress is making an offer. Jack Roush might be making an offer. I'm sure that Chip Ganassi is going to be making an offer. Chip tried one about 3 or 4 years ago. Didn't go very far. Tony says there's nothing broken with his relationship with Joe Gibbs. He's not too fond of Toyota. He won't really talk about that on the record, but he wants to be back with Chevrolet. I'm thinking that Brent Dewar is the guy that's making things happen all of a sudden. Brent's going to Europe, going up the ladder at GM. I think that he's the guy that's making the push. Now, Brent was the guy last fall that said he wanted Tony Stewart to stay in the GM camp. He was the guy that was trying to tell Tony, don't sign a contract with Toyota. Don't sign a contract with GM. No. He was the guy that was saying, don't sign a contract with Toyota. Don't sign a contract with Joe Gibbs. Let us give you a counteroffer. The counteroffer, I believe, is from Rick Hendrick. We talked about that 2 months ago. I think that the offer now is for Tony to have his own team, perhaps the Gene Haas, Joe Custer operation, where Tony has to run his own operation. He's good. He's a promoter, runs Eldora, has a sprint car operation. I think that that's what GM is offering him. Whether he takes it or not, I don't know. What happens to Greg Zipadelli as crew chief for the last 10 years? I don't know. What's going to happen to all the guys that have been with Tony for so many years? I don't know. That's been a tight operation for 10 years. They won 2 championships, 37 races. They've really done a good job. If GM is making an offer for Tony, it's going to have to be for more than just Tony. It's going to have to be a package deal. A lot of questions up in the air. Tony's sitting there answering all our questions. I thought he was going to be upset. He wasn't. He sat there, took everything we had, said, keep on coming. I said, you're going to be upset when we come after you week after week after week. He said, no, I like the idea. I asked him about Jack Roush. Jack Roush might want to put him in a car. I don't think he wants a Ford necessarily, but hey, if Tony's a free agent, I think Ford's going to go after him. I think Dodge is going to go after him. The fact that Tony Stewart was so friendly with the press today, I think was very telling. I think he's put himself into play. He wants to see what happens next. I think Kerry Agajanian, his business agent, one of the sharpest guys in the business, is behind a lot of this stuff. He may stay with Joe Gibbs, but I'm thinking he wants to go back to Chevrolet. I'm thinking that's the key. I'm thinking that Brent Dewar wants to get Tony Stewart back in a Chevrolet. I think Tony Stewart wants to get back in a Chevrolet. How he does that, I don't know. Rick Hendricks made a bid. We talked about that back during Speed Weeks at Daytona. I think Richard Childress has made a bid today to get him. I think Tony Stewart is a free agent, and he's waiting to see what everybody else has to offer. That's the story on the eve of the Talladega 500. Mike Mulhern for the Winston-Salem Journal and JournalNow.com.